My friends, I invite you to consider the magnificent truth that has been hidden from you in plain sight. The power of God is not something outside of you, residing in the heavens or distant from your current reality. The presence of God is within you. And I am here to show you that this inner presence holds the key to transforming your life, to manifesting your desires, and to shaping your destiny according to the deepest desires of your heart. Let us begin with the understanding that we are not merely physical beings, living in a world defined by material conditions. No, you are far more than flesh and blood. You are a divine being, an expression of the infinite intelligence that creates all things. This intelligence, this divine force, does not reside outside of you, but within you. It is closer to you than your very breath, more intimate than your thoughts. It is the core of who you truly are. What does it mean to say that the presence of God is within you? It means that you in your very essence are endowed with the creative power of the universe. This power is not dormant, waiting for some external circumstance to awaken it. It is alive, active, and always responding to your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. The challenge, however, lies in your ability to recognize this power, to acknowledge it, and to harness it deliberately. You have heard it said, "As within, so without." This is not merely a poetic phrase, but a profound truth. The reality that you experience, the conditions of your life, the circumstances that surround you, are all reflections of what is happening within you. If you want to change the outer conditions of your life, you must first change the inner conditions of your mind. For the world that you see is nothing more than the mirror of your own consciousness. Consider this: the thoughts you think, the images you hold in your mind, the emotions you nurture, are the seeds that you plant in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. And like all seeds, they will grow and bear fruit in your life. If you plant seeds of fear, doubt, and limitation, you will harvest experiences that reflect those states of mind. But if you plant seeds of love, abundance, and faith, your life will blossom in ways that exceed your wildest dreams. Now you may ask, how do I plant these seeds of faith and abundance? How do I align myself with the presence of God within me and manifest my desires? The answer is simple. Yet it requires your full attention and commitment. You must discipline your imagination. Imagination is the key to accessing the divine presence within you. It is through the faculty of imagination that you create reality. Every invention, every great achievement, every advancement in human history began in the imagination of someone who dared to believe in the unseen. Your imagination is the workshop of God, the place where divine ideas take form and become manifest in your life. But to use your imagination effectively, you must first become aware of how you are using it now. Are you using your imagination to dwell on what you do not want, to replay scenes of fear, worry, and frustration? Or are you using it to envision the life you truly desire, to create vivid mental pictures of success, joy, and fulfillment? The choice is yours, and the power to choose is within you. When you close your eyes and imagine the life you wish to live, you are not merely daydreaming. You are engaging in the most powerful creative act that you are capable of. In those moments, you are aligning yourself with the presence of God within you. You are impressing your desires upon the subconscious mind, which is the womb of creation. And when these impressions are strong, clear, and consistent, they will be brought forth into physical reality. But you must believe. You must have unwavering faith that what you imagine is already yours. Doubt and fear are the enemies of manifestation. They are the forces that cloud your mind and prevent the divine presence within you from expressing itself fully. Faith, on the other hand, opens the door to infinite possibilities. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Now, faith is not something you need to acquire from outside of yourself. It is already within you, just as the presence of God is within you. You activate your faith by imagining, by seeing in your mind's eye the reality of your desires already accomplished. Feel it as though it is already real. Live in the assumption that your wish has been fulfilled, and you will draw it into your experience. You see, the universe does not respond to your desires, it responds to your state of being. If you are in a state of lack, even though you desire abundance, you will continue to experience lack. But if you assume the feeling of abundance, even when the outer conditions of your life do not yet reflect it, you will draw abundance to you. The feeling is the secret. The feeling is what activates the presence of God within you and brings your desires into manifestation. It is not enough to simply think about what you want. You must feel it deeply, with all the emotion and conviction you can muster. You must live in the assumption that your desire is already a reality. This is the creative act, the act of faith that moves mountains and opens doors that no man can shut. Let me remind you, there is no limit to what you can create when you align yourself with the presence of God within you. The only limits are the ones you impose upon yourself. If you believe that you are limited, that you are not worthy of success, love, or happiness, then that is what you will experience. But if you believe in your own divine power, if you believe that you are worthy of all the good that life has to offer, then the universe will conspire to bring it to you. I urge you, my friends, to let go of the limiting beliefs that have held you back for so long. Release the fear, the doubt, the feelings of unworthiness, and step into your true power. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are a creator of reality. The presence of God is within you, and it is through this presence that you can manifest anything you desire. Now, I know that for many of you, this may seem like a radical idea. You have been taught to believe that power lies outside of you, that you must wait for some external force to grant you the things you desire. But I am here to tell you that this is not true. You are not a beggar at the door of the universe, hoping for a few crumbs of happiness. You are a co-creator with the divine, and the power to create is within you. Begin today by turning your attention inward. Recognize the presence of God within you and honor it with your thoughts, your feelings, and your imagination. Be deliberate in the use of your mind, for it is through your mind that you create your world. Do not allow the outer circumstances of your life to dictate your inner state. Instead, allow your inner state to dictate the outer circumstances of your life. When you wake up in the morning, before you even rise from your bed, take a few moments to imagine the day ahead as you wish it to be. See yourself moving through your day with ease, joy, and success. Feel the emotions of gratitude, love, and confidence as though everything you desire is already yours. And then carry that feeling with you throughout the day, no matter what challenges may arise. When doubts and fears creep into your mind, and they will, do not fight them. Simply acknowledge them, and then gently turn your attention back to the presence of God within you. Remind yourself that you are the creator of your reality, and that nothing outside of you has the power to dictate your experience. We often look outside ourselves for answers, for meaning, and for purpose. We are conditioned to believe that the divine is something distant, external, and beyond our grasp. Whether it's through religious teachings, societal norms, or our upbringing, many of us have been led to think that God, or the ultimate creative power of the universe, resides somewhere out there far removed from our daily lives and concerns. We may have been taught to pray to a distant deity, hoping for mercy, for guidance, or for intervention. But the truth is far more profound, far more personal. The presence of God is not something outside of you. It is within you, and this truth is transformative once fully understood and embraced. What does it mean to say that the presence of God is within you? It means that you, as an individual, carry within you the same creative energy that brought the universe into being. This energy, this force, is not confined to the heavens or some spiritual realm far beyond your current experience. It is alive and active within your very being. It is the essence of who you truly are. It is not separate from you, it is you. This presence is the source of all that is. It is the intelligence that forms the stars, that governs the seasons, that brings life into being, and it resides within you. To recognize this truth is to understand that you are not merely a passive observer in life, subject to the winds of fate or external circumstances. You are, in fact, a participant in the divine creative process. You have within you the same creative power that shapes worlds, and it is through your awareness and your consciousness that this power is expressed. The presence of God within you is not something that can be earned or acquired. It is not dependent upon your status, your wealth, your achievements, or even your religious beliefs. It is an inherent part of your being. You were born with it, and it will remain with you for all eternity. This presence is the very breath of life, the animating force that gives rise to your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. It is the source of your creativity, your intuition, and your inspiration. But for many of us, this presence lies dormant, unrecognized, and unappreciated. We go through life feeling disconnected, disempowered, and lost, not realizing that the key to everything we seek is already within us. We have been looking in the wrong places, seeking fulfillment in material possessions, in external relationships, in the approval of others, when the true source of our power and our joy resides within our own consciousness. To tap into this divine presence within you, you must first become aware of it. This awareness begins with a shift in perception. Instead of seeing yourself as separate from the divine, as a small and insignificant being in a vast and indifferent universe, you must begin to see yourself as an integral part of the divine whole. You must come to understand that the presence of God is not something to be sought after or attained, but something to be realized and acknowledged. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate this awareness is through the practice of stillness. In the silence of your own mind, free from the distractions and noise of the outside world, you can begin to sense the presence of the divine within you. It is in these moments of quiet reflection that you can tune into the subtle, yet profound energy that animates all of life. This presence is not loud or forceful. It does not demand your attention, but it is always there, waiting for you to recognize it. As you become more attuned to this inner presence, you will begin to notice its influence in your life. You will start to see how it guides you, how it inspires you, how it provides you with the strength and clarity you need to navigate the challenges of life. You will come to understand that the answers to your deepest questions do not lie outside of you, but within you. The presence of God within you is your source of wisdom, your source of power, and your source of peace. But recognizing this presence is only the first step. The next step is to align yourself with it, to consciously choose to live in harmony with the divine power within you. This requires a shift in how you think, how you feel, and how you fate. It requires you to let go of the limiting beliefs that have kept you small, to release the fear and doubt that have clouded your vision, and to step into the fullness of who you truly are. When you align yourself with the presence of God within you, you begin to live from a place of faith rather than fear. You no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstances, but as a co-creator of your reality. You recognize that you have the power to shape your life according to your highest vision and your deepest desires. You begin to trust in the divine intelligence that flows through you, knowing that it will guide you to where you need to be and provide you with everything you need along the way. This alignment is not something that happens overnight. It is a process, a journey of self-discovery and self-mastery. But as you continue to cultivate this awareness and this alignment, you will begin to experience the transformative power of the presence of God within you. You will see how your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions influence the circumstances of your life. You will come to understand that you are not separate from the divine, but an expression of it. This simple phrase contains within it a profound truth. Your inner state creates your reality. The outer conditions of your life, the people, events, and circumstances that you experience are all reflections of your inner state of being. In other words, the world around you is a mirror of what is happening within you. This truth can be difficult to accept, especially when we are faced with challenges or difficulties in our lives. It is tempting to blame external circumstances, to point the finger at others, or to believe that we are victims of fate. But when we truly understand that our outer reality is a reflection of our inner state, we realize that we have far more power and control over our lives than we may have previously thought. You see, the thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, and the beliefs you hold create a vibrational frequency that radiates out into the universe. This frequency attracts experiences, people, and circumstances that are in alignment with it. If you are constantly thinking thoughts of lack, fear, and limitation, you will attract experiences that reflect those states of mind. But if you are thinking thoughts of abundance, love, and possibility, you will attract experiences that align with those higher frequencies. The outer world is not separate from your inner world. It is a direct reflection of it. This means that if you want to change your outer reality, you must first change your inner state. You cannot expect to attract abundance, success, or love into your life if your mind is filled with thoughts of scarcity, failure, or unworthiness. The outer world will always mirror back to you what you are projecting from within. This is why it is so important to take responsibility for your inner state. You must become aware of the thoughts, beliefs, and emotions that are shaping your reality. You must ask yourself, what am I focusing on? What am I giving my attention to? Am I dwelling on what I don't want, or am I focusing on what I do want? Am I nurturing thoughts of fear and doubt, or am I cultivating thoughts of faith and possibility? Your inner state is like a garden, and your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are the seeds you plant. If you plant seeds of negativity, fear, and doubt, you will grow a garden of weeds. But if you plant seeds of love, faith, and abundance, you will grow a garden of beauty and prosperity. The choice is yours, and the power to choose is always within you. Now you may be wondering, how do I change my inner state? How do I shift from a state of fear and lack to a state of faith and abundance? The answer lies in your awareness and your imagination. You must become aware of the thoughts and beliefs that are creating your current reality, and then use your imagination to create a new reality. Imagination is the most powerful tool you have for transforming your inner state. When you close your eyes and imagine the life you want to live, you are not just daydreaming. You are planting seeds in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. And just like any seed, these images and feelings will grow and manifest in your outer reality. But imagination alone is not enough. You must also feel the emotions associated with your desired reality. You must feel as though your desire has already been fulfilled. This is the key to changing your inner state. When you feel the emotions of joy, gratitude, and love as though your desire is already a reality, you are aligning yourself with the vibrational frequency of that reality. And when your inner state is aligned with your desire, the outer world will reflect it back to you. It is important to remember that this process is not about forcing or controlling the outer world. You cannot manipulate external circumstances to create the life you want. Instead, you must focus on changing your inner state, trusting that the outer world will naturally reflect the shifts you make within. Imagination is a force more powerful than most of us realize. It is the very foundation of every creation in your life, the space where all your dreams, desires, and visions take root before they manifest into reality. Whether consciously or unconsciously, you are always using your imagination to create your world. Every invention, every achievement, every great work of art, and every success story began in someone's mind as an image, a vision of what could be, and then it was brought into existence. Imagination is the workshop where the raw material of your thoughts, desires, and emotions is shaped into the tangible experiences of your life. The ability to imagine is one of the greatest gifts you have been given. It is the tool through which you can create the life you want, the bridge between the invisible world of thoughts and the visible world of physical reality. When you understand how to use your imagination properly, you can transform every aspect of your life, whether it's your career, relationships, health, or personal happiness. The possibilities are limitless because imagination is limitless. Many people underestimate the power of their imagination because they do not realize its significance in the process of creation. They think of imagination as mere fantasy, a place where dreams remain distant and unattainable. However, the reality is far different. Everything that exists in your world first existed as an idea in someone's imagination. From the technology we use to the buildings we live in, from the literature that inspires us to the clothes we wear, every single thing began as a concept formed in the mind. You may think, but how does imagination lead to the actual manifestation of my desires? The answer lies in understanding that imagination is not separate from reality. It is the precursor to reality. When you engage in the act of imagining, you are impressing images and feelings onto your subconscious mind, which then takes those impressions and expresses them outwardly as circumstances and events in your life. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. It simply accepts whatever you consistently focus on as the truth and works to bring it into your experience. In this way, imagination is the workshop of creation. It is where you design the blueprint for your life. And like any workshop, the quality of the output depends on the tools you use and the effort you put into it. If you allow your imagination to run wild with thoughts of fear, doubt, and limitation, you will create a life that reflects those qualities. But if you use your imagination with purpose, filling it with visions of success, abundance, and joy, your life will take shape according to those images. One of the most powerful aspects of imagination is that it allows you to live in the future you desire. even if your present circumstances do not yet reflect it. This is key to the process of creation. By imagining your ideal life with vivid detail and emotional intensity, you begin to shift your inner state of being. You begin to feel as if your dreams are already realized. And this shift in consciousness is what brings about external changes in your reality. It is not enough to simply think about what you want in a vague or passive way. You must engage your imagination with intention and conviction. You must see yourself living the life you desire as if it is happening right now. But imagine every detail, what it looks like, what it feels like, how you will interact with the world once you have achieved your goal. The more vividly you can imagine it, the more real it becomes in your inner world, and the more powerfully it will manifest in your outer world. Imagination, when used properly, is not about escaping reality, but about creating it. It allows you to transcend your current limitations and tap into a higher state of consciousness where anything is possible. Through imagination, you can access new ideas, new perspectives, and new solutions to old problems. You can envision a future that is greater than your past and begin to bring that future into being. The key to using your imagination effectively is persistence. You must persist in your vision, even when the outer world shows no signs of change. Too often people give up on their dreams because they do not see immediate results. But manifestation takes time, and the outer world always lags behind the inner world. Just because something hasn't appeared in your life yet doesn't mean it isn't on its way. The more you persist in your imagination, the more momentum you build, and eventually your outer reality will catch up with your inner vision. This persistence in imagination is an act of faith. You are trusting that what you are creating in your mind will eventually become your reality. And this brings us to the second key point. Faith activates the power of manifestation. Faith is the substance that gives life to your imagination. Without faith, imagination remains a mere fantasy, a fleeting thought with no real impact on your life. But when faith is combined with imagination, it activates the power of manifestation. It is faith that turns your visions into reality, that takes the unseen and makes it seen. Faith is not just a vague belief in something greater. It is a deep inner knowing that what you imagine and desire is already yours, even if you cannot yet see it. Faith is the certainty that what you envision in your mind is as real as anything in the physical world, and it is this certainty that sets the creative process in motion. Faith is often misunderstood as something passive, a hope that things will work out if we wait long enough or pray hard enough. But true faith is an active force. It is the assurance that what you desire is already in existence, even if it has not yet materialized in the physical world. This assurance allows you to move forward with confidence, knowing that your desires will manifest in their own time and in their own way. When you combine faith with imagination, you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. You are saying, I know that what I am imagining is possible, and I trust that it will come to pass. This trust is what allows you to stay focused on your vision, even when circumstances seem to contradict it. Faith gives you the strength to persist in your imagination, to hold on to your vision, and to continue moving forward, even when the outer world offers no immediate evidence that your desires are being fulfilled. It is important to understand that faith is not blind optimism or wishful thinking. It is not about denying reality or pretending that everything is perfect when it clearly isn't. Faith is grounded in the understanding that reality is not fixed, that it is constantly shifting and evolving in response to your inner state. It is knowing that what you focus on in your mind will eventually manifest in your outer world, as long as you remain aligned with that vision. Faith also involves letting go of the how. Too often, people get caught up in trying to figure out how their desires will come to pass. They become fixated on the details, trying to control every step of the process, and in doing so, they block the natural flow of creation. But faith requires you to release the need for control. It asks you to trust that the universe will take care of the how, as long as you stay focused on what the end result you desire. When you have faith, you are not concerned with how things will happen or when they will happen. You know that they will happen, and that is enough. This allows you to relax, to let go of worry and doubt, and to enjoy the process of creation. Faith frees you from the need to constantly check for signs of progress or to second-guess your vision. It gives you the peace of mind to continue imagining your desired reality with confidence, knowing that it will unfold in perfect timing. Faith also has a magnetic quality. When you have faith in your vision, you attract the people, opportunities, and resources needed to bring that vision into reality. You begin to notice synchronicities, chance encounters, and unexpected events that align with your desires. This is not a coincidence, it is the result of your faith drawing those elements into your life. The universe responds to your faith by orchestrating the circumstances necessary to bring your vision to fruition. But faith is not just about waiting for things to happen. It is about taking inspired action. When you have faith in your vision, you are motivated to take the steps necessary to bring it into reality. You are not waiting for a miracle, you are co-creating with the universe. Faith gives you the courage to act, even when the path ahead is unclear. It empowers you to move forward with confidence, knowing that every step you take is leading you closer to your desired outcome. In this way, faith is the driving force behind manifestation. It is what turns your imagination into reality, what transforms your visions into experiences. Without faith, your desires remain distant and unattainable. But with faith, you can bring anything you imagine into existence. To cultivate faith, you must practice seeing beyond your current circumstances. You must train your mind to focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. You must learn to trust in the unseen, to believe in the power of your imagination, and to know that the universe is always working in your favor. At the core of everything we experience, whether positive or negative, there exists a powerful force emotion. Feelings shape our reality in ways that are deeper and more profound than we often realize. We have all heard the saying, "You attract what you feel," but understanding the magnitude of this statement is essential to creating a life aligned with our desires. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, and every word you speak is accompanied by a feeling. This feeling is not just a fleeting reaction to your thoughts, but the driving force that gives those thoughts the power to create. Feelings are what give life to your desires and intentions. You can think positive thoughts all day, you can imagine success, happiness, or love. But if those thoughts are not accompanied by the corresponding feelings, they remain hollow. It is the feeling behind the thought that makes it resonate in your subconscious mind, influencing your perception and shaping the reality you experience. Emotions are not merely responses to external circumstances, they are the very energy that creates those circumstances. When you feel a strong emotion, whether it is joy, love, anger, or fear, that emotion sends a signal to the universe, a signal that is matched by similar energy and experiences. This is why it seems that when you are in a good mood, everything seems to go well, and when you are in a bad mood, things only seem to get worse. Your outer world is simply reflecting back the emotional frequency that you are emitting. Feelings are magnetic. They have the power to attract circumstances, people, and events that are in harmony with them. If you are constantly feeling stressed, anxious, or fearful, you are vibrating at a frequency that will attract more of the same into your life. On the other hand, when you feel joyful, peaceful, and abundant, you attract experiences that match those emotions. The universe does not distinguish between good or bad feelings. It only responds to the energy you are sending out. Consider for a moment how you feel when you think about your dreams and desires. Do you feel excited, inspired, and hopeful? Or do you feel doubtful, anxious, or discouraged? These feelings are the key indicators of what you are attracting into your life. If you are feeling positive emotions, you are in alignment with your desires, and you are moving toward their manifestation. But if your dominant feelings are negative, you are out of alignment, and you are likely to experience delays, obstacles, or the absence of what you truly want. Feelings also serve as a guide, showing you where you are in relation to your desires. When you feel good, you are in a state of flow, moving in the direction of your dreams. When you feel bad, it is a signal that you are resisting or blocking the natural flow of creation. This is why it is so important to pay attention to your emotions. They are the compass that points you toward your highest good. One of the most powerful aspects of feelings is that they are not bound by time. You do not have to wait for your desires to manifest before you can feel the emotions associated with them. In fact, the opposite is true. You must first feel the emotions of having your desires fulfilled, and then the external manifestation will follow. This is the essence of the law of attraction. You must feel it to see it. For example, if you desire abundance, it is not enough to simply think about abundance. You must feel abundant, even if your current financial situation does not reflect it. You must generate the feeling of wealth, of freedom, of security, as if you already have all the resources you need. When you consistently feel abundant, you attract more abundance into your life. Similarly, if you desire love, you must feel love within yourself before you can attract it from others. If you desire success, you must feel successful, confident, and empowered, even before the external evidence appears. The challenge, of course, is that many of us are conditioned to let our feelings be dictated by our external circumstances. We look at what is happening in our lives, the money in our bank account, the state of our relationships, the success of our career, and we base our emotions on those conditions. If things are going well, we feel good. If things are not going well, we feel bad. But this approach keeps us stuck in a reactive state, always at the mercy of external events. To truly harness the power of your feelings, you must reverse this process. Instead of letting your outer reality determine how you feel, you must let your inner state of being create your outer reality. This means consciously choosing to feel the emotions that align with your desires, regardless of what is happening around you. It means generating the feeling of joy, love, peace, and abundance, even if your current circumstances do not seem to support it. This is not about denying reality or pretending that everything is perfect when it isn't. It is about recognizing that your feelings are a creative force, and that by choosing how you feel, you are shaping your reality. You are not at the mercy of your emotions. You have the power to shift your emotional state at any moment, and in doing so, you change the energy that you are sending out into the world. One way to consciously shift your feelings is through the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions you can cultivate because it instantly raises your vibration and aligns you with the frequency of abundance. When you focus on what you are grateful for, you activate feelings of joy, love, and appreciation, which attract more of those qualities into your life. Even if you are facing challenges or difficulties, there is always something to be grateful for. By shifting your focus to the positive aspects of your life, you change your emotional state and begin to attract more positive experiences. Another way to shift your feelings is through visualization. When you close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself living the life you desire, you generate the feelings associated with that reality. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. So when you visualize your desired outcome with strong emotion, you create the same feelings as if it were already happening. This process not only shifts your emotional state in the present moment, but also sets in motion the forces that will bring your vision into reality. Ultimately, your feelings are the fuel that drives the engine of creation. They are what give power to your thoughts, intentions, and desires. When you learn to consciously direct your emotions, you gain mastery over your reality. You are no longer a passive observer, reacting to whatever life throws at you. Instead, you become an active participant in the creation of your life, shaping your experiences according to the emotions you choose to cultivate. There is no greater truth than this: you are the creator of your experience. The life you are living right now, in all its complexity, is a direct reflection of the choices you have made, the beliefs you hold, and the feelings you have cultivated. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you cling to contributes to the reality you experience. You are not a victim of circumstance, and you are not at the mercy of external forces. You are the one who shapes your world, moment by moment, through the power of your consciousness. This may seem like a radical idea, especially if you have been taught to believe that life happens to you rather than through you. But when you truly understand that you are the creator of your experience, you realize that you have far more power and control over your life than you may have previously thought. You are not a passive recipient of whatever fate or chance throws your way. You are an active participant in the unfolding of your destiny. The creative process begins with your thoughts. Every thought you think is a seed that you plant in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Some of these seeds are planted consciously, while others are planted unconsciously. But every thought has the potential to grow and manifest in your life, depending on how much attention and energy you give it. Your thoughts are like the blueprint for the life you are building. If you think thoughts of abundance, success, and joy, you are laying the foundation for a life that reflects those qualities. But if your thoughts are filled with fear, doubt, and limitation, you are building a life that reflects those negative states of mind. The key is to become aware of the thoughts you are thinking and to consciously choose thoughts that align with the reality you want to create. But thoughts alone are not enough to create your experience. It is your beliefs that give power and substance to your thoughts. A belief is simply a thought that you have repeated over and over again until it has become ingrained in your subconscious mind. Once a belief is established, it acts as a filter through which you interpret your experiences and make decisions. Your beliefs shape your perception of reality, and they influence the choices you make. If you believe that life is hard, that success is difficult to achieve, or that you are not worthy of love or abundance, those beliefs will create a reality that mirrors them. But if you believe that life is abundant, that success is your birthright, and that you are worthy of all the good that life has to offer, you will create a reality that reflects those beliefs. Your beliefs are like the foundation of a house. They determine the structure and shape of your life. To change your experience, you must first change your beliefs. This requires a process of introspection and self-awareness. You must examine the beliefs you hold and question whether they are serving you or limiting you. Are your beliefs aligned with the life you want to create? Or are they keeping you stuck in patterns of lack and limitation? Once you identify the beliefs that are holding you back, you can begin to replace them with new, empowering beliefs that support the reality you want to create. But even beliefs are not the final word in the creative process. Your emotions, as we discussed earlier, play a crucial role in shaping your experience. You can think positive thoughts and hold empowering beliefs, but if your emotions are not aligned with those thoughts and beliefs, you will struggle to create the reality you desire. It is your feelings that give energy and momentum to your thoughts and beliefs. When your emotions are in harmony with your intentions, you become a powerful creator of your experience. Finally, action is the last piece of the creative puzzle. While thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are the foundation of creation, it is through action that you bring your desires into physical reality. In conclusion, the power to shape your life lies entirely within you. Your imagination, feelings, beliefs, and actions all play a vital role in creating the reality you experience. The presence of the divine creative force is not something external, but something that resides within you, always accessible and ready to be harnessed. When you align your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions with the life you desire, you become an active participant in the process of creation. You are not at the mercy of external circumstances, but rather you are the creator of your own experience. By recognizing and embracing this truth, you can transform your reality and manifest the life you truly desire. It all begins within, and the possibilities are endless.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Goddard Works. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract the attention they desire while others struggle? What if I told you that the secret isn't in seeking attention, but in learning to act as if you don't want it at all? Today I'm going to reveal why acting like you don't want anyone's attention is the key to manifesting everything you've ever desired. But before we dive in, if you find this lesson valuable, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on more transformative insights like this one. Now let's dive into this profound truth. The world is a reflection of your inner state of being. The energy you project is what you attract, and your external reality is shaped by the assumptions you hold within. The more you crave attention, the more you'll find yourself chasing after it. But when you stop seeking validation from the outside and instead focus on cultivating your own inner peace and self-assurance, you become magnetic in ways you never imagined. When you act as if you don't care whether anyone notices you, the paradox is that people start noticing you. It's not because you're actively trying to be noticed, it's because you have detached yourself from the need for approval. In that state of detachment, you are no longer a prisoner to the opinions of others, and this freedom opens doors you never thought possible. You see, it is in the freedom from desire that true power resides. When you release the need for validation, you begin to unlock the true power of your inner world. Far too often we find ourselves seeking approval, recognition, or acknowledgement from the outside world. We crave the attention of others to confirm our worth, to reassure ourselves that we are on the right path. But the truth is that this external validation is fleeting. It is never a permanent solution to your sense of self. In fact, the more you seek validation from others, the more you will find yourself trapped in a cycle of seeking, striving, and never fully feeling satisfied. You see, the foundation of your self-worth must come from within. The moment you stop seeking validation is the moment you step into your true power. External validation is like a reflection in a mirror. It changes and shifts with every movement. But your inner state, your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are the solid foundation upon which your world is built. When you place your worth in the hands of others, you give away your personal power. You allow the opinions of others to shape how you feel about yourself. And in doing so, you become a passive participant in your own life. But what happens when you stop looking outside for approval? What happens when you choose to believe in your own worth, regardless of how others perceive you? You become self-sufficient. You stop relying on the feedback of others to feel good about yourself. And in that moment of self-reliance, you begin to radiate an energy that cannot be ignored. People are drawn to this energy because it is the energy of someone who is at peace with themselves, someone who does not need others to tell them they are worthy. You begin to attract the attention and respect that you once sought, not because you were trying to get it, but because you stopped needing it. Think about it for a moment. When was the last time you felt truly confident? Confidence isn't about how others see you, it is about how you see yourself. Confidence is the product of an inner knowing, a deep, unshakable belief in your own abilities and your own worth. And this type of confidence is not built on the approval of others. In fact, the moment you let go of the need for external validation, you step into a state of inner certainty. You no longer look for the world to reflect back your worth. You already know who you are, and that is enough. The power of internal validation cannot be overstated. When you begin to validate yourself, you are no longer dependent on anyone else's opinion to shape your reality. You become the sole creator of your experiences. This is not an act of arrogance or pride. It is an act of self-respect and self-love. It is an acknowledgement that your worth does not depend on anyone else's approval. You are worthy simply because you exist. And when you recognize this truth, the need for validation fades away. This shift in perspective allows you to approach life with a sense of freedom. When you no longer need to seek validation, you stop chasing after approval. You stop performing for others, trying to gain their favor or their attention. Instead, you live authentically. You begin to focus on what truly matters to you, and you allow your actions to align with your inner values and desires. You no longer waste energy on trying to control how others perceive you. Instead, you put all your energy into creating the life you desire, knowing that the right people and circumstances will be drawn to you because you are fully aligned with your true self. Letting go of the need for validation also opens the door to a deeper level of personal growth. When you no longer look to others for approval, you become free to explore your own desires, your own passions, and your own potential. You no longer fear judgment or criticism. You are no longer restricted by the opinions of others. Instead, you begin to take bold actions that are in line with your deepest values, trusting that your inner guidance will lead you to the right outcomes. You become empowered to create your own reality, because you no longer seek permission from anyone to be your authentic self. As you continue to validate yourself, you'll find that your sense of inner peace grows stronger. You no longer feel like you're constantly chasing after something outside yourself to feel complete. You are already complete. The approval you once sought from others is replaced by a deep sense of inner contentment. You begin to live in a state of self-assurance, knowing that you are enough, just as you are. And this self-assurance radiates outward, drawing the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences into your life. The energy you put out into the world is a direct reflection of the way you feel about yourself. When you seek validation, you send out a vibration of neediness and desperation. People can sense this energy, and they may either distance themselves from you or only offer superficial forms of approval. But when you validate yourself, you send out a vibration of wholeness and completeness. People are naturally drawn to this energy because it signals confidence, self-respect, and authenticity. So how do you begin to validate yourself? It starts with changing the way you think about yourself. Instead of relying on external feedback, start looking inward for validation. Begin by affirming your worth each day, reminding yourself that you are enough, regardless of what others think. Practice self-compassion and self-love, and allow yourself to make mistakes without judgment. The more you practice self-validation, the stronger your sense of self-worth becomes. Over time, this inner validation will become so deeply ingrained that you no longer feel the need to seek approval from anyone else. The moment you stop needing validation is the moment you reclaim your power. You become the creator of your own life, and you no longer rely on others to define your worth. Your life becomes a reflection of your inner truth, and you attract the people, circumstances, and opportunities that are aligned with that truth. Your journey becomes one of self-discovery, self-expression, and self-empowerment. And as you continue to validate yourself, you will find that the world around you begins to reflect your inner certainty, bringing you everything you need to live the life you truly desire. True confidence is born from an inner understanding that you are the source of your own worth. Confidence isn't something that is granted by others or derived from external achievements. It is a state of being that comes from the realization that your value does not depend on the opinions, praise, or approval of anyone. The moment you truly understand this, you step into the full expression of your own power. Confidence emerges when you stop seeking reassurance from the outside world and instead cultivate a strong sense of self-belief that is independent of any external circumstances. When you begin to believe in yourself without relying on external validation, a profound shift occurs within you. You stop looking to the world for confirmation of your worth because you already know, deep within, that you are worthy of all the good things that life has to offer. This inner knowing becomes the foundation upon which true confidence is built. True confidence is the result of a quiet certainty that you are enough, exactly as you are, without needing to prove anything to anyone. It is a state of being where you trust in your abilities, in your path, and in your own judgment. The essence of confidence lies in this simple yet powerful truth: you are already complete. There is no need to chase after recognition, approval, or accolades. When you stop seeking these external markers of success, you begin to recognize your own intrinsic worth. You understand that your worth is not determined by what others think of you, but by the way you see yourself and the thoughts you hold about your own potential. When you stop measuring your worth by other standards, you begin to free yourself from the constant need for approval. You stop questioning your decisions based on what others might think or say. Instead, you act from a place of inner clarity and trust in your own judgment. Confidence grows from the recognition that your opinion of yourself is the only one that truly matters. As you align yourself with this internal truth, you create a sense of inner peace that cannot be shaken by the opinions or judgments of others. You become unshakable because your sense of worth is not based on the fluctuating opinions of the outside world. The moment you stop looking for external validation, you begin to experience the power of authentic confidence. This is the confidence that comes from being true to yourself, from standing firmly in your own beliefs and desires, and from trusting that you are on the right path, regardless of whether others approve. This confidence isn't fragile. It doesn't crumble when faced with criticism or rejection, because it is not reliant on the approval of others. It is solid, unyielding, and rooted in a deep sense of self-worth. When you embrace this internal source of confidence, You find that you no longer need to compare yourself to others. You stop measuring your success by how you stack up against those around you, and instead you focus on your own growth, progress, and journey. You begin to celebrate your uniqueness and understand that your path is your own. You are not here to compete with others. You are here to fulfill your own potential, to express your own gifts, and to experience your own success. This understanding frees you from the chains of comparison and allows you to stand confidently in your own truth. As you continue to nurture this inner confidence, you begin to notice that the world responds to you differently. People are drawn to you because of your unwavering belief in yourself. There is an energy that emanates from those who are confident in their own abilities. And this energy attracts the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances into their lives. Confidence is magnetic. It creates a ripple effect that extends outward, influencing everything in its path. True confidence comes from the ability to stand firm in your own identity and trust in your own capabilities. It comes from knowing that you are enough exactly as you are, and that you do not need anyone's approval to validate your worth. This confidence is rooted in the understanding that your thoughts, beliefs, and inner state are what shape your external reality. When you believe in yourself, when you hold the assumption that you are worthy, capable, and deserving, you align yourself with the energy of success and abundance. The more you practice this inner confidence, the more you begin to see the results in your life. As you trust in your own power, you start to take bold actions that align with your true desires and values. You become less afraid to step out of your comfort zone, knowing that you have the ability to navigate whatever challenges come your way. You trust that the universe will support you because you are confidently moving toward your goals, fully aligned with your own potential. In essence, true confidence is the art of trusting yourself. It is about stepping into the full expression of who you are, without apology, without hesitation, and without fear. It is the unwavering belief that you are enough, and that you are deserving of everything you desire. When you let go of the need for external validation and embrace your own inner strength, you become unstoppable. You begin to live from a place of inner certainty, and that is where true confidence is born. This kind of confidence is not based on arrogance or superiority. It is grounded in humility and self-respect. It is the quiet knowing that you are valuable, that your journey is significant, and that your contributions to the world are meaningful. As you cultivate this inner confidence, you will find that you no longer need to seek approval from others. Instead, you will become a beacon of self-assurance, attracting everything you need to manifest your dreams and live your best life. When you stop chasing attention, you begin to attract it effortlessly. This may seem like a paradox at first. How can you draw something towards you by no longer seeking it? The truth is, the very act of chasing attention signals a neediness that repels the very thing you desire. Attention, like any other force in the universe, is drawn to energy that is confident, whole, and self-contained. When you stop desperately reaching out for it, you begin to radiate a presence that naturally pulls others in. This is the powerful truth that transforms the way you approach life, relationships, and success. At the core of this idea is the understanding that you do not need to chase after external validation or approval to feel complete. You are already whole. The more you seek attention, the more you are reinforcing the idea that you are incomplete, that something is missing, and that you need something from others to feel validated. When you recognize your own worth and stop seeking it from others, you start to change the energy you project into the world. Rather than grasping at attention, you begin to exude an aura of confidence and self-assurance that others are naturally drawn to. The act of seeking attention can be likened to the act of trying to hold on to something that keeps slipping away. The more you try to control or force attention, the more elusive it becomes. But when you let go of the need to control how others see you and instead focus on cultivating your own inner peace and self-confidence, attention comes to you without effort. This shift in focus is incredibly powerful because it places you in a position of power and control over your own life. When you no longer feel the need to manipulate your image or behavior to get noticed, you free yourself from the constant anxiety that comes with trying to maintain a certain appearance or persona. You simply become yourself, and in doing so, you attract the right people, experiences, and opportunities into your life. This magnetic quality that emerges when you stop chasing attention is the result of an alignment between your internal world and your external reality. When you no longer seek approval from others, you stop broadcasting a message of neediness. Instead, you broadcast a message of self-sufficiency and authenticity. You are no longer trying to be someone else to fit in or gain favor. Instead, you show up fully as yourself, confident and unashamed of who you are. This authenticity is magnetic. People are drawn to authenticity because it is rare in a world filled with pretense and facades. When you act from a place of true self-acceptance, you give others permission to do the same. You create a space where people feel safe to be themselves, and in turn, they are naturally drawn to you. This principle applies not just to social interactions, but to every area of your life. Whether it's your career, your personal relationships, or your creative endeavors, the more you stop seeking attention and validation from the outside world, the more you allow yourself to be the creator of your own experiences. When you stop seeking approval, you open up space for your own ideas, desires, and visions to unfold naturally. You stop limiting yourself based on what you think others want or expect from you, and instead, you allow your true self to emerge. In doing so, you attract not only the attention you desire, but the right opportunities, the right people, and the right circumstances to help you manifest your goals and dreams. This process is not about becoming complacent or passive. It is about stepping into your power by recognizing that you are the source of your own validation. When you stop seeking attention, you begin to take action that is in alignment with your true desires and values. You stop doing things simply to be noticed, and you start doing things because they resonate with you deeply. This is when the universe begins to conspire in your favor, because your actions are in harmony with the energy of your true self. As you align with your own desires, you become a beacon for the right experiences to come into your life. Think about the people who truly stand out in any environment. They are often the ones who seem completely uninterested in being noticed. They are not performing for an audience or trying to impress anyone. Instead, they are fully immersed in their own sense of purpose, and this unwavering focus on their own journey is what draws others in. The attention they receive is not a result of seeking it, but a natural byproduct of their authenticity and self-assurance. This is the power of being yourself and living authentically. When you no longer seek attention, you automatically become a magnet for the right kinds of attention. This principle also has a profound impact on your relationships. When you stop seeking attention from others, you stop playing games or manipulating situations to get people to notice you. Instead, you approach your relationships with honesty, openness, and a genuine desire to connect. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone. You simply show up as you are, and this authenticity creates a deeper level of connection. People are naturally drawn to this kind of energy because it feels safe and real. You no longer have to perform or present a polished version of yourself to be loved or accepted. The right people will be attracted to you because they resonate with your true self. This shift in focus from seeking attention to allowing it to come to you is a game changer. It frees you from the burden of trying to fit into other people's expectations and allows you to fully embrace who you are. When you let go of the need to chase attention, you reclaim your personal power. You no longer feel the need to seek external validation, because you already know that you are worthy just as you are. This inner knowing becomes the foundation upon which your life is built. You stop seeking attention from others and start attracting it effortlessly simply by being yourself. In this state, you become magnetic not because you are trying to be, but because you are aligned with your true self. When you no longer need the approval of others to feel good about yourself, you open yourself up to the flow of life. You become an active participant in your own journey, creating the life you want by acting in alignment with your authentic desires. This is the power of stopping the chase for attention when you release the need for it. You allow yourself to be fully seen, heard, and appreciated for who you truly are. The moment you stop trying to impress others is the moment you begin to experience true freedom. Far too often, people live their lives in constant pursuit of approval, validation, and admiration. They base their actions, choices, and even their identity on how others perceive them, trying desperately to maintain a facade that garners attention. This need to impress, however, is not only exhausting but also an illusion of power that keeps people trapped in a cycle of seeking external affirmation. When you let go of the need to impress others, you unlock an entirely new realm of freedom and authenticity. You stop performing for an audience and start living for yourself. The need to impress others is rooted in a deep-seated belief that your worth is dependent on how others view you. This belief creates an unhealthy cycle in which you constantly seek out ways to prove your value. The truth, however, is that your value is intrinsic and cannot be defined or altered by the opinions of others. When you let go of the need to impress, you take back your power. You no longer rely on the opinions, praise, or approval of others to determine your worth. Instead, you become the source of your own validation. You understand that you are valuable simply because you exist, and this understanding sets you free from the constant need to impress. Impressing others requires energy that is better spent on nurturing your own growth and development. When you focus on impressing others, you are focusing on their perceptions, their judgments, and their expectations. You lose sight of your own desires and needs, and instead you mold yourself into something that you believe others will admire. This not only drains you, but also keeps you disconnected from your true self. The more you try to impress, the further away you move from authenticity. You become a reflection of what you think others want to see, rather than who you truly are. This disconnect from your authentic self leads to feelings of emptiness and dissatisfaction. Because no amount of external validation can fill the void created by neglecting your true self. When you stop trying to impress others, you free yourself from this exhausting cycle. You stop performing and start being. You no longer feel the need to shape yourself into someone you're not in order to gain approval. Instead, you focus on what genuinely matters to you and what aligns with your true desires and values. You begin to live from a place of authenticity, and this authenticity becomes the foundation of everything you do. When you stop seeking to impress, you start to live in accordance with your own beliefs and passions, and you become naturally magnetic. You attract people and opportunities that resonate with your true self, not with the image you've created to impress others. One of the most powerful aspects of letting go of the need to impress others is the realization that your worth is not determined by external validation. You are worthy regardless of how anyone else perceives you. When you stop seeking approval, you stop giving away your power. You stop allowing others to dictate how you feel about yourself. You begin to trust your own judgment and your own feelings. You understand that your sense of self-worth comes from within, not from the opinions of others. This shift in mindset gives you the freedom to act according to your true desires without fear of judgment or rejection. You become free to pursue your goals, dreams, and passions, regardless of whether they align with others' expectations. The moment you stop trying to impress others, you begin to cultivate a sense of peace and contentment that comes from knowing you are enough, just as you are. This inner peace is not reliant on external praise or recognition. It is a deep, unshakable knowing that you are valuable, regardless of how others perceive you. This inner peace allows you to move through life with confidence and clarity. You no longer need to seek validation from others because you are already validated by your own understanding of your worth. You trust yourself and your decisions, and you act from a place of inner certainty, knowing that you are aligned with your true purpose and desires. Living authentically, without the need to impress others, also allows you to form deeper, more meaningful connections with the people around you. When you stop trying to impress others, you start showing up as your true self. You no longer wear a mask or put on a performance to gain favor. Instead, you open yourself up to authentic connections based on mutual respect, understanding, and shared values. People are naturally drawn to those who are authentic and true to themselves, and when you stop trying to impress, you begin to attract those who resonate with your true essence. The pressure to impress others can also cloud your judgment and decision-making. When you are constantly concerned with how others perceive you, you become disconnected from your own intuition and inner guidance. You begin to make decisions based on what you think will impress others or gain their approval, rather than on what is right for you. This can lead to a life that is not truly your own, a life that is shaped by the expectations and judgments of others, rather than by your own desires and values. By letting go of the need to impress, you begin to make decisions that are in alignment with your true self. You trust your intuition and follow the path that feels authentic to you, regardless of how others may respond. Another powerful aspect of letting go of the need to impress others is the freedom it gives you to fail, learn, and grow. When you are no longer concerned with impressing others, you no longer fear failure or making mistakes. You understand that failure is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply a part of the process of growth. You are no longer bound by the fear of judgment or rejection, and this allows you to take risks, step outside your comfort zone, and pursue your passions without fear. You embrace the process of becoming, knowing that you are already worthy regardless of the outcome. This mindset allows you to move forward with courage and confidence, knowing that each step you take, whether successful or not, is part of your journey toward greater self-expression and fulfillment. When you stop trying to impress others, you also begin to attract the right people and opportunities into your life. You no longer need to perform or compete for attention. Instead, you draw in people who appreciate you for who you truly are and who support your authentic journey. You attract opportunities that are aligned with your true passions and values, rather than those that are based on external validation. This alignment creates a life that is richer, more fulfilling, and more in tune with your true desires. The key to living a life of authenticity and freedom is to let go of the need to impress others. When you stop trying to be something you're not in order to gain approval, you open yourself up to a life of true self-expression and personal fulfillment. You no longer need external validation to feel worthy. Instead, you come to realize that you are already enough, just as you are. This realization allows you to live with confidence, peace, and clarity, knowing that your worth comes from within, and that you are free to live your life on your own terms. The need for constant validation is a powerful force in many people's lives. It's easy to fall into the trap of seeking approval from others, believing that our worth is determined by how others see us. This constant craving for validation leads us to make decisions based on the desire to please others, rather than to follow our true desires. It can cause us to lose touch with our authentic self, as we prioritize external approval over internal alignment. The truth, however, is that no amount of validation from others can ever truly satisfy us. True fulfillment comes from within, from the deep understanding that we are valuable and worthy, regardless of the opinions of others. When you stop seeking validation, you reclaim your power. You free yourself from the need for external approval and begin to recognize that your value is inherent, not dependent on how others see you. This shift in perspective is transformative because it changes the way you move through the world. You no longer rely on others to determine how you feel about yourself. Instead, you become the source of your own self-worth. This inner shift allows you to live from a place of authenticity, where you make choices based on your true desires rather than on the need for approval. The constant pursuit of validation is often rooted in fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, fear of not measuring up. These fears create a mindset of lack, where you believe that you need something external to complete you. You may find yourself striving to meet the expectations of others, trying to fit into their mold of who you should be. This need for validation can create a cycle of dependency, where you constantly seek out praise or approval to feel worthy. But no matter how much validation you receive, it is never enough. It's like trying to fill a cup with holes. The validation leaks out as soon as you receive it, leaving you thirsty for more. When you stop seeking validation, you break this cycle. You realize that you do not need to rely on others to feel complete. Your worth is not contingent on someone else's approval or recognition. You begin to see that true fulfillment comes from within. This is not to say that you no longer care about the opinions of others, but rather that you no longer let those opinions define you. You stop giving your power away to others, and instead you start trusting your own judgment and your own inner knowing. The freedom that comes from no longer seeking validation is profound. You no longer feel the need to shape yourself into something you are not in order to fit into the expectations of others. You stop putting on a facade, and instead you show up as your authentic self. This authenticity is magnetic because it draws people to you who resonate with your true energy. When you stop seeking validation, you stop performing and start being. People are naturally attracted to those who are comfortable in their own skin, who don't need external approval to feel good about themselves. Authenticity is rare, and it is a quality that people find compelling. Living without the need for validation also frees you from the pressure to constantly prove yourself. Many people live in a constant state of proving their worth, trying to show that they are capable, deserving, or valuable. This need to prove yourself is exhausting and often leads to burnout. Because no matter how much you prove, it never feels like enough. The moment you stop seeking validation, you stop the cycle of proving and start the process of simply being. You no longer feel the need to constantly demonstrate your worth to others. Instead, you simply know your worth, and this knowing gives you a sense of peace and confidence. This peace comes from the deep understanding that you are enough just as you are. You no longer need to do, be, or achieve anything in order to be worthy. Your worth is inherent in your existence. This realization allows you to make choices that align with your true desires and values, rather than based on what others think you should do. You stop second-guessing yourself or seeking approval before taking action. Instead, you act with confidence, knowing that you are already enough, regardless of the outcome. The need for validation can also cause you to make decisions based on fear rather than faith. When you are constantly seeking validation, you may find yourself hesitating or second-guessing your decisions because you are concerned about how others will perceive them. You may make choices that are safe or socially acceptable, rather than following your heart and pursuing what you truly desire. When you let go of the need for validation, you move from a place of fear into a place of faith. You trust yourself, and you trust that your path is right for you, even if others don't understand it or approve of it. This shift in mindset allows you to live with greater freedom. You are no longer constrained by the opinions of others, and you no longer feel the need to conform to societal expectations. Instead, you live according to your own values and principles. You make decisions based on what feels right for you, not based on what will gain you the most approval or recognition. This leads to a more fulfilling life because you are living authentically, in alignment with your true self. As you continue to stop seeking validation, you begin to notice that the people and experiences that enter your life are more aligned with who you truly are. You attract people who appreciate you for your authentic self, and you find opportunities that resonate with your true passions and desires. The validation you sought from others becomes irrelevant, because you now receive validation from within. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone, and you no longer feel the pressure to live up to anyone's expectations. Instead, you simply live for yourself, in alignment with your own values and desires. Letting go of the need for validation also allows you to embrace your mistakes and imperfections. When you seek validation from others, you may become afraid of making mistakes, because you fear that others will judge you or think less of you. But when you stop seeking validation, you understand that mistakes are simply part of the process of growth and learning. You no longer fear judgment or rejection because you know that your worth is not dependent on your success or failure. You embrace your imperfections as part of your journey, knowing that they do not define you. This freedom from validation is not about rejecting others or disregarding their opinions. It is about understanding that your worth is not determined by what others think of you. You still value the relationships and connections you have with others, but you no longer let their opinions define you or dictate your choices. You stand firm in your own understanding of your worth, and you move through the world with the confidence that you are enough, just as you are. When you stop seeking validation, you reclaim your power and your freedom. You are no longer at the mercy of others' opinions or judgments. You become the creator of your own reality, making choices that are in alignment with your true desires. This shift in mindset opens up a world of possibilities, because you are no longer limited by the need to seek approval or validation. You are free to live authentically, confidently, and fully, knowing that you are enough, just as you are. When you stop striving to be someone you are not, you begin to step into your true power. It's so easy to get lost in the desire to be someone else, to compare yourself to others and think that their qualities, their lives, their successes are better than your own. The truth is, the more you try to be someone you are not, the further you move away from your own uniqueness. And when you move away from who you truly are, you block your ability to create the life you desire. The more you embrace who you are, the more you step into your personal power, and the more you align with the life you were meant to live. We often find ourselves trying to emulate others, to adopt their behaviors, their ways of thinking, or even their achievements, because we believe they have something we lack. This often comes from a place of insecurity, a feeling that we are not enough on our own, that we need to be like someone else to feel worthy. We might look at others and think, if I could only be as confident as they are, or as successful, or as admired, then I would be happy. Then I would be enough. But the truth is, we are already enough. There is no need to be anyone else. You have everything you need within you to create the life you desire, but it starts with accepting and embracing who you truly are. When you stop trying to be someone else, you stop living your life through the lens of comparison. Comparison is a thief of joy, and it's a habit that can prevent you from seeing your own potential. The more you compare yourself to others, the more you diminish your own worth. You begin to believe that you don't have what it takes or that you're lacking in some way. But when you stop comparing yourself to others, you begin to see the unique gifts and talents that are already within you. You realize that your path, your journey, is completely unique, and no one else's life holds the answers to yours. The moment you stop trying to be someone you are not is the moment you allow yourself to fully embrace your own individuality. It's not about fitting into a mold or meeting a standard set by others. It's about standing tall in your authenticity and being proud of who you are, just as you are. This is when the magic happens. When you stop pretending to be someone else, you stop living for the approval of others. You stop shaping yourself to meet someone else's expectations, and instead, you begin to create your life based on what feels true to you. This process is liberating because it gives you permission to be yourself. The moment you stop trying to be someone else is the moment you step into your personal truth. You stop apologizing for who you are, and you stop hiding your true self behind a mask. You allow yourself to be fully seen, without fear of judgment or rejection. This vulnerability is where real power lies. When you allow yourself to be seen as you are, without trying to mold yourself into someone you're not, you unlock the full potential of who you truly are. The power of being yourself is that you no longer feel the need to perform for others. You no longer need to put on an act to fit in or to gain approval. Instead, you live from a place of authenticity. This is when you begin to attract people, and opportunities that resonate with who you truly are, not with who you are pretending to be. When you stop pretending to be someone else, you attract experiences that are in alignment with your true desires. Your relationships deepen because they are based on authenticity, not on the image you project. You no longer waste energy trying to be someone you are not, and instead, you channel that energy into being the best version of yourself. When you stop striving to be someone else, you also stop measuring your success by other people's standards. Success is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It is subjective, personal, and unique to each individual. When you constantly compare yourself to others, you begin to measure your success based on someone else's achievements. And this only leads to frustration and dissatisfaction. But when you stop comparing, you realize that your success is not determined by what others have achieved or by how you stack up against them. Your success is defined by your own journey, your own progress, and your own personal growth. Stepping into your true power requires that you stop chasing external validation. The more you try to be someone else, the more you give away your power. You begin to rely on others' opinions to feel good about yourself, and this creates a sense of insecurity and self-doubt. But when you stop trying to be someone you are not, you reclaim your power. You no longer need external validation because you know deep down that you are enough. Your worth does not depend on how others see you, it comes from within. You are already whole and complete as you are. And when you embrace this truth, you are free to create your own path. The freedom that comes with embracing your true self is immeasurable. It is the freedom to be authentic, to pursue your own dreams, and to live your life in alignment with your true values. You are no longer constrained by the need to meet someone else's expectations, and you no longer live in fear of being judged or rejected. You live with the confidence that comes from knowing that you are enough, just as you are. When you stop trying to be someone you are not, you also stop living in a state of constant conflict. Trying to be someone else creates an inner tension, a disconnect between who you are and who you are trying to be. This tension can cause stress, anxiety, and dissatisfaction. But when you embrace your true self, you experience inner peace. You align with your own desires, your own passions, and your own purpose. You stop living in opposition to yourself, and instead, you create a life that reflects who you truly are. Another important aspect of stepping into your true power is realizing that the only person you need to be is yourself. There is no need to copy anyone else's path or try to live up to their standards. You have your own unique journey to walk, and it is not meant to look like anyone else's. The moment you stop trying to be someone else is the moment you begin to create your own path, one that is uniquely yours. You stop feeling like you have to conform, and instead you allow yourself to explore and express your individuality. This is the path to true fulfillment. When you stop trying to be someone else, you begin to live a life that is true to you. You stop sacrificing your own desires and values for the sake of fitting in, and instead, you create a life that reflects who you are at your core. This is where true happiness and fulfillment lie, when you are living in alignment with your authentic self. When you stop trying to be someone else, you open yourself up to new possibilities. You stop limiting yourself by the expectations you place on yourself or by the standards set by others. Instead, you become open to the infinite potential that exists when you embrace your true self. Your life becomes a reflection of your own inner truth, and this truth is what guides you toward the experiences, opportunities, and relationships that are meant for you. By embracing who you are and no longer striving to be someone else, you unlock your full potential. You stop holding yourself back, and you begin to express yourself freely and fully. The more you embrace who you are, the more you allow yourself to grow and evolve into the person you are meant to be. This is when the doors to your personal power swing wide open, and the world becomes your stage to create the life you desire. The key to moving beyond validation is understanding that true fulfillment and success come not from external sources, but from within yourself. We live in a world that constantly bombards us with messages about what we should have, how we should look, and what we should do to be considered successful or worthy. The society we live in places so much emphasis on approval from others that it becomes easy to believe that our happiness, our worth, and our success depend on these outside affirmations. The truth, however, is that this constant need for validation is a barrier to personal growth and self-realization. When you recognize that your life is governed by your own beliefs and assumptions, you begin to see that seeking approval from others is unnecessary and even counterproductive. True empowerment comes from within, from understanding that your validation must come from your inner sense of self, not the opinions of those around you. When you stop seeking validation from others, you free yourself from the constant cycle of comparison. Comparison breeds insecurity because it directs your attention outward, making you believe that someone else's life, abilities, or accomplishments are better than yours. This way of thinking is rooted in scarcity. There is only so much success or happiness to go around, and if someone else has it, you cannot have it. This belief is false. There is more than enough room in the world for everyone to succeed, and your path is entirely unique to you. When you stop comparing, you open yourself up to the abundance of opportunities that are available. You stop measuring your worth against someone else's and begin to appreciate your own unique qualities and strengths. The moment you realize that your validation does not depend on others, your life begins to shift. No longer are you driven by the need to meet someone else's standards or to be recognized by the world. You begin to trust in your own judgment, in your own instincts, and in your own abilities. You stop seeking reassurance from the outside world and start looking within. This internal shift is powerful because it allows you to make decisions from a place of authenticity, knowing that your choices reflect your true desires and values. When you stop seeking validation, you stop compromising your own happiness for the sake of pleasing others. You become the creator of your own life, empowered by the knowledge that you do not need anyone's approval to be worthy. This shift away from seeking external validation also frees you from the constant pressure to perform. Many people live their lives under the heavy weight of expectations, always trying to meet the standards set by their families, their communities, or society as a whole. The fear of not being good enough or of disappointing others can be paralyzing. However, when you let go of the need for validation, you stop living for others' approval and start living for yourself. You stop measuring your worth based on how well you meet other people's expectations, and you start living in alignment with your own values, desires, and goals. You realize that your worth is not based on your achievements or how others perceive you, but rather on your ability to express your true self. When you no longer seek validation, you become less concerned with what others think of you. You understand that their opinions are not a reflection of who you are, but of their own perspectives, shaped by their experiences, beliefs, and biases. People will always have their opinions, but these opinions do not define you. You stop giving away your power by allowing other people's judgments to shape how you feel about yourself. Instead, you begin to trust your own sense of worth, knowing that you are inherently valuable regardless of what others think. This shift in mindset is liberating because it allows you to move through life with greater confidence and self-assurance. You no longer need to prove yourself to anyone because you know that you are already enough. As you continue to let go of the need for validation, you begin to experience greater peace and contentment in your life. The constant striving for approval becomes exhausting, and the more you release this need, the more you open yourself up to inner calm. You no longer feel the pressure to keep up appearances or to constantly perform in order to be accepted. Instead, you begin to embrace your own journey and trust that it is unfolding exactly as it should. This inner peace comes from the understanding that you are enough as you are, and that you do not need to seek validation from anyone else to confirm your worth. The freedom that comes from no longer seeking validation also enables you to make decisions that are truly in alignment with your desires. When you are constantly seeking the approval of others, you may find yourself making decisions based on what others want or expect from you. You may avoid pursuing your true passions out of fear of disappointing others or fear of being judged. But when you stop seeking validation, you start making decisions from a place of authenticity. You trust yourself to make the right choices for your life, even if they do not align with what others expect from you. This is where true growth begins, when you stop living according to someone else's blueprint and start following your own. This is not to say that you should disregard others or live in isolation, but rather that you should stop seeking your worth through external sources. When you stop seeking validation, you begin to engage with others in a more genuine way. You no longer need to prove yourself to them. And as a result, your relationships become more authentic and meaningful. You attract people who appreciate you for who you truly are. And you develop deeper connections because you are no longer pretending to be someone you are not. These authentic relationships create a support system that allows you to grow and thrive without the need for validation. Another important aspect of this shift is the recognition that your success is not defined by the approval of others. Success is a deeply personal concept. It's about living in alignment with your values, achieving your own goals, and growing into the person you are meant to be. When you stop seeking validation, you stop measuring your success by someone else's standards. Instead, you define your success based on your own experiences, growth, and personal achievements. Your success becomes about how you feel, how you show up in the world, and how you live in alignment with your own values and desires. Letting go of the need for validation also allows you to step into your true potential. When you are not focused on the opinions of others, you are free to pursue your dreams without the fear of judgment or failure. You understand that setbacks and challenges are simply part of the process of growth, and they do not define your worth. You stop allowing fear of rejection or criticism to hold you back from pursuing what you truly want in life. Instead, you move forward with confidence, trusting in your ability to create the life you desire, without needing anyone else's approval to validate your choices. In the end, the most powerful shift you can make is to stop seeking validation from others and to begin seeking it from within. When you understand that you are enough just as you are and that your worth is inherent, you free yourself from the need to perform for others, to gain their approval, or to prove yourself. You embrace your authentic self and begin living a life that is true to your desires and values. As you continue on this path, you attract the right people, opportunities, and experiences that are aligned with your true self, and you create a life that is uniquely yours. When you no longer seek validation, you begin to create the life of your dreams. The moment you stop trying to impress others is the moment you open yourself up to genuine personal growth and transformation. For so much of our lives, we have been conditioned to seek validation, approval, and admiration from those around us. Society encourages us to perform, to put on a mask, and to live in a way that pleases others. This constant striving for external approval can be exhausting, and it often leads to frustration, dissatisfaction, and a deep sense of disconnection from our true selves. We get caught in the endless cycle of trying to meet other people's expectations, believing that if we only perform well enough, we will find happiness and fulfillment. But the truth is, trying to impress others only distances us from our true purpose and prevents us from experiencing real growth. When we live our lives based on the desire to impress others, we base our worth on external sources. We rely on the opinions of others to determine how we feel about ourselves, and this sets us up for a lifetime of uncertainty and insecurity. The approval we receive from others is fleeting and can easily change based on their mood or perspective. Our sense of self-worth becomes tied to the validation of others, which is an unstable and unreliable foundation to build upon. In this constant search for approval, we lose touch with our own values, desires, and sense of direction. We begin to mold ourselves into what we believe others want us to be. rather than embracing the uniqueness of who we truly are. The moment you decide to stop trying to impress others, you take back control of your life. You stop seeking approval and instead you begin to trust yourself. You realize that your worth does not depend on how others see you, but on how you see yourself. The need to impress others fades away, and you begin to live authentically, making choices that align with your true self. You no longer feel the pressure to conform to society's standards or to live up to someone else's expectations. You are free to be yourself without fear of judgment or rejection. Living authentically requires courage. It requires the courage to stop hiding behind a facade and to show up as your true self. The fear of being judged or criticized often prevents us from stepping into our authenticity. We are afraid that if we reveal our true selves, we will not be accepted, and that fear leads us to suppress parts of who we are. However, when you stop trying to impress others, you stop living in fear. You realize that your value is not determined by others' opinions, and you no longer feel the need to shape your identity to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. One of the greatest sources of liberation comes when you let go of the need to perform for others. Instead of focusing on how others perceive you, you focus on how you perceive yourself. You begin to ask yourself what you truly want in life, what your passions are, and what makes you feel alive. Your actions and decisions are no longer influenced by the desire to impress or gain approval, but are driven by a deep sense of self-awareness and self-respect. When you stop trying to impress others, you start living for yourself, and that is when real transformation begins. This shift in mindset allows you to focus on your own growth and development. When you stop performing for others, you stop worrying about whether you are meeting society's standards or fitting into a mold. You begin to pursue goals that are meaningful to you, rather than chasing after success defined by others. You start to value progress over perfection, recognizing that the journey of personal growth is more important than any external validation. By focusing on your own growth, you open yourself up to new opportunities, new experiences, and a deeper understanding of your own potential. When you stop trying to impress others, you begin to understand that the true measure of success lies in personal fulfillment, not in external accolades. Success is not about gaining recognition or applause from the world. It is about living in alignment with your values and your purpose. The external recognition that we often chase is fleeting and temporary. What truly matters is how we feel about ourselves and whether we are living a life that reflects our authentic self. When you stop seeking external validation, you focus on creating a life that feels good to you, not one that looks good to others. You start living for your own satisfaction, peace, and fulfillment. One of the most powerful shifts that occurs when you stop trying to impress others is the release of judgment. When we constantly seek approval from others, we are often judging ourselves based on the opinions and standards of those around us. We measure our worth against how others perceive us, which creates a cycle of judgment that is difficult to break. But when you stop performing for others, you stop judging yourself through the lens of external approval. You begin to accept yourself as you are, without the need for comparison or validation. This self-acceptance is a powerful catalyst for personal transformation. It allows you to let go of the need to measure your success by anyone else's standards and to embrace your own unique path. Letting go of the need to impress others also helps you become more present in your own life. When you are constantly focused on how others perceive you, you are not fully engaged in the present moment. Your energy is consumed with trying to maintain an image or perform in a certain way, leaving little room for authentic experiences. But when you stop trying to impress others, you free yourself to be fully present. You can engage in your relationships, your work, and your passions with authenticity and joy. You are no longer distracted by the need to impress, and as a result, you become more connected to your true self and the people around you. Another benefit of letting go of the need to impress others is the ability to form deeper, more meaningful relationships. When you are constantly trying to impress others, you are not allowing them to truly see who you are. You are presenting an image, a version of yourself that you believe they will accept. But this facade creates a barrier between you and others, preventing genuine connection. When you stop performing for others, you allow people to see you as you are. And this opens the door to deeper, more authentic relationships. You begin to attract people who appreciate you for who you truly are, not for the image you project. This shift also allows you to experience greater peace and freedom. When you are no longer concerned with impressing others, you free yourself from the constant pressure to meet external expectations. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself or to seek validation from others. Instead, you trust yourself and your own decisions. This inner confidence and peace allow you to navigate life with more ease and less stress. You begin to feel empowered to live life on your own terms, and this empowerment propels you toward greater success and fulfillment. Ultimately, the key to true personal growth and transformation lies in letting go of the need to impress others. When you stop trying to fit into a mold or perform for others' approval, you start living from a place of authenticity and self-respect. You embrace your unique qualities and talents, and you create a life that is aligned with your true desires. In doing so, you free yourself from the cycle of comparison, judgment, and external validation, and you open yourself up to a life of fulfillment, peace, and personal success. In conclusion, the journey of stepping away from the constant need for external validation and approval is one of the most transformative experiences you can undertake. It is a path that leads to self-empowerment, inner peace, and genuine fulfillment. When you stop trying to impress others, you shift your focus inward, aligning your actions, decisions, and desires with your true self. By embracing authenticity and letting go of the fear of judgment, you create a life that is uniquely yours, one that is not defined by the opinions or expectations of others. Through this shift, you will discover a deeper sense of freedom and confidence, allowing you to pursue your goals and dreams without the weight of comparison or the need to seek approval. As you begin to live for yourself rather than for others, you will find greater joy, more meaningful relationships, and an increased capacity to grow and thrive. This freedom empowers you to create a life that reflects your true potential and your deepest desires, unhindered by the limitations of seeking external validation. The essence of this journey is understanding that you are already enough. You are worthy simply because you exist, and no external validation is required to affirm your value. When you embrace this truth, you free yourself from the chains of trying to meet others' expectations, and you step into a life of true personal mastery. The real power lies within you, and once you recognize that, you can create a reality that is truly in alignment with your inner truth and aspirations.